Good morning, everyone. We start with this. Paul Manafort is going to prison amid a barrage of criticism from people who say President Trump's former campaign chairman got off easy. A judge sentenced Manafort to 47 months yesterday for fraud and tax evasion, not related to the Trump campaign. That sentence is far less than the nearly 25 years prosecutors wanted.
Manafort told the judge, quote, "To say I am humiliated and shamed would be a gross understatement." Paula Reid covered yesterday's hearing, and she is at the White House. Paula, it's fair to say this was a surprising sentence.
This was a shocking sentence, Bianna, and this was also a surprise because this is the first time we heard from Manafort. But he did not express any remorse for what he had done, and the judge commented. He said, "I'm surprised not to hear you express more regret or apologize." But then, of course, the judge had a surprise of his own when he shocked this packed courtroom by sentencing Manafort to just a fraction of what was recommended.
He accepts responsibility for his conduct.
Paul Manafort, sitting in a wheelchair because of complications from gout, said before his sentencing that he feels pain and shame, adding, "My life, professionally and financially, is in shambles." After a short recess, it was Judge T.S. Ellis's turn to speak. He called the charges undeniably serious and said Manafort made choices to engage in criminal conduct. But Judge Ellis then seemed to give the former Trump campaign chairman the benefit of the doubt, saying that Manafort lived an otherwise blameless life and he has engaged in lots of good things. Ellis called the recommended sentence of 19 to 24 years behind bars excessive and handed Manafort a term of nearly 4 years.
Lock him up!
Manafort had agreed to cooperate with the Mueller investigation last September, but the agreement fell apart. Prosecutors say Manafort lied repeatedly to the special counsel's office, the FBI, and a grand jury.
You know, Paul Manafort worked for me for a very short period of time.
The president has sought to distance himself from his former campaign chairman. But Manafort was a public part of his campaign, even defending then-candidate Trump against charges of Russian collusion on CBS This Morning.
So to be clear, Mr. Trump has no financial relationships with any Russian oligarchs.
That's what he said. That's what I said. That's obviously what our position is.
While they stopped working together in August of 2016, Manafort's strategy has always been to angle for a presidential pardon.
And one of the reasons I respect Paul Manafort so much is he went through that trial. You know, they make up stories. People make up stories. This whole thing about flipping, they call it.
Next week, Manafort will be sentenced here in Washington in a separate case by a judge who has been much tougher on him. And that judge will need to decide whether or not he can serve both sentences at the same time. John?
Paula, thank you.